Project Zomboid is about, zombies. That's about all I know. In my continuing quest to find games that are challenging enough for my feeble TikTok mind, many of you requested Zomboid. But is Zomboid actually the challenge that people say it is? Or is it just another zombie survival? Today I'm going to be going in blind. I'll be learning the ropes of Zomboid via learning the hard way. No Google, no help, just hitting new game. And you know what? I miss the days of YouTube where you could post a Let's Play, where you could post a series. So I'm making this a series. I really like to edit, but it's only me and I do it pretty slowly. So while I work on the longer videos, I can shove episodes of this series out for you guys. Here, content. Are you happy? Enough talking. Let's get to surviving. I chose Survivor because stealth sounded boring to me. I chose Muldraugh, Kentucky because I don't know. Ooh, a character builder. I don't want to do that. Let's assign numbers to all of them and roll randomly. Okay, 13, which means we got Doctor. Let's see, we have First Aid, Fitness, Short Blade, and Strength. Or Doctor Strong? Whatever. Click the random button a few times, and boom! Dr. Elias Still is born. As I figured out Control Hell, I thought about Elias Still's goals right off the bat. Those goals being a house, a car, and a gun. I found a bunch of useless crap right off the bat. Pens, magazines, a saw, canned food, not anything that you'd need for survival. The only useful things I found in the house were bandages and this frying pan. With that good news, Elias knew it was time for him to go out and face the music. We had to go outside. It was here that I could ignore battle no longer. I spotted my first creature. I had my sights set on the house across the street. I would loot as many as it took to get my gun. To my surprise, I met the neighbor early, inside of his house. I tried his door, but to no avail. I didn't want to break the window because I didn't know how these zombies alerted. So instead, I opened the window for him, as he obviously wanted to get out. Sorry for knocking on your door, neighbor. No need to lose your head over it. I infiltrated the neighbor's house, and as it was important to be a good guest, carefully shut the window behind me. I looked through his things and found un banana, some pickles, a kitchen knife, and a flashlight. And with that whopper of a loot table, I left the house and set out to explore the neighborhood. And for the first time, I was kind of alarmed at how many zombies I actually saw. Now, I was not afraid of a fight, but that did not mean I wanted to get overwhelmed. So Dr. Elias turned his butt around and went the other way. Surely there's not zombies also this way. Ooh, that looks like a big house. Can I climb this fence? Project Zomboid. Yes. Haha. Maybe doctors are strong. Ooh. Okay, this was a lot to handle, but there was only 4 zombies in a backyard. I think that I could handle it. Dr. Elias was pushing and hitting and pushing and hitting, and there was only 3. The 4th did not seem interested, and as long as there was not a mysterious 5th that rounded the corner, I would be fine. Oh my god, I'm fucked. What are the odds of an unexpected 5th zombie? Dr. Elias tried to shove them off, both with frying pan and with free hand, but he could not. He was too weak, and thus, he fell. Well, how about that? I got an hour in and killed me 1 zombie. And hey, there's the last zombie. Now they're interested. You know what this means. 5, which means... This is Todd Wit, a construction worker, and the official poster child for Let's Try That Again. Todd Wit's start was much of the same, even down to the frying pan. However, he started in a trailer park. Maybe that meant that there would be fewer zombies here. Never mind. It really just meant that every car that I saw was a piece of shit. After taking a page from Dr. Elias's window climbing strategy, Todd Wit got his first kill. Ooh, a key. Could that be for the car outside? A piece of shit. Todd looted a couple odds and ends and then thought about his goals, which were a house, a car, and a gun. I thought I'd start by investigating the really nice cars outside. Rummaging around in this one proved fruitless, but it did grab the attention of a zombie nearby. And just like that, Todd Wit 1, Elias Still 0. I then investigated more cars and found I could actually get in this one. I found a map and a walkie-talkie before running into more problems. Sorry, ma'am. Kitchen's closed. I investigated the trunk of this car before getting snuck upon, adding another one to my kill roster. I looted a key off the man, and it turned out that this truck was his. I might be in a position to scratch something off of my list and get my first vehicle. As my truck pipe dreams swam in my head, disaster. There was nothing in the tank, and the noise of the engine was attracting zombies. I knew that this zombie screaming was going to attract more, so I knew that now or never, I'd have to book it. I took 2 bites and started running. The noise had indeed attracted more creatures, and me running attracted even more creatures. I was wrong about the population of this area, and before I knew it, there was no stopping for anything. I was about to test Todd's endurance. I made enough space to bandage myself up, and then kept it moving. I thought I could play it cool for a bit. Maybe if I just walked, they wouldn't hear me. I was wrong about this. I was in deep shit. In order to get away from the horde of zombies that was now on my ass, I had to keep walking. But nowhere was safe and there were zombies everywhere, so as I kept walking, I kept attracting more zombies, and I figured out that that is exactly what this game wants. I felt bamboozled, I felt deceived, I felt trapped. I had fallen right into this game's trap, and now it was time for me to figure out how to get out. If I had a weapon or a vehicle, I could barricade myself inside a building and shoot out of the windows, but I didn't have either of those. The only thing I had were a frying pan and my 2 legs. As walking through the streets is what put me in this mess, I decided to get off of them. I sought the woods. I would use the cover of tree and shrub to shroud me from the zombies' view. I would run into clearings and maybe set up a forest camp there, I don't know. As I walked through the outskirts of the city seeking the forest, things got worse and worse. But hey, at least car alarms weren't going off. Fuck. Little quick turnaround to see how... Yeah, oh my god. Okay. I couldn't check my map to see how close the forest was because if I stopped, I would surely die. Maybe they'd eventually lose interest. No, okay. I kept walking through the parking lot and then saw lush fields of green. Phase 1 of the plan was working. I had found the woods. Now it was time to lose these bastards. Okay, so running through trees in this game cuts you. Got it. Though bitten, scratched, lacerated, and tired, I did not see any more zombies behind me, and I was thinking that my plan may have worked. Todd was tired and his wounds needed tending. I looked through my inventory for bandages to craft out of clothing, to no avail. It was in this beautiful clearing, coming down from the adrenaline high and licking his wounds, where Todd had time to assess. We didn't know Todd before this. What could his life had been? He was a construction worker. Did he have a wife before the outbreak? Maybe Todd spotted her around the neighborhood, which is why he never left his trailer park. Maybe his son wandered the streets, infected by the disease. Whatever his life had been, we were sharing it now. Things weren't looking good for Todd, but we weren't done fighting just yet. And neither were they. I've learned that in Project Zomboid there are seldom moments to rest. Anytime you think you're safe, they're just getting one step closer. The trees hadn't stopped them, but merely slowed them down. Just enough time for me to get sentimental. The horde still on his heels, Todd fought into the trees, but they were waiting for him. Another lesson in Project Zomboid. Being tired would kill you. Todd finally dispatched the beast and went looking for spare clothes to make bandages out of. But like we said, 1 second standing still is another second they get closer. We knew that running through the trees served a chance of injuring us, but at this point we had no choice. Scratched thrice, lacerated once, and bleeding the entire way through. As we shambled through the trees, we used clothing, ripped sheets, and dirty rags to bandage our wounds. The forest grew thicker, and at this point, Todd didn't know if he was getting further away from death or closer to it. However, with the thickening of the trees, it must have meant that the horde lost him. He found time to eat, and as he walked, planned for what came next. They seriously were ruthless. As I was walking through the woods attempting to get back onto the highway, a zombie came out of nowhere and immediately bit me. No warning. Todd had shaken off a couple bites before, and this wouldn't be the end of him. He stripped the zombie for a little bit of clothing and made bandages. Thanks for helping the cause, you fiend. Todd knew he couldn't walk through the woods forever. He would need new bandages, food. He had to get back to civilization, and the only way to do that was the highway. As we walked, we heard the distant growls of more creatures, shrouded by the woods. One of the pros of the woods is that the zombies couldn't see me in them, but the con is that I couldn't see them either. Unbeknownst to Todd, somewhere through the woods, he had tripped and fallen, losing his frying pan and his knife. It almost felt as if we were going backwards, losing more than we had gained. Todd couldn't use his boot to kill zombies forever, but he could right now. It was time to walk the highway, and it was a long road ahead. Zombie after zombie, bandage after bandage, Todd walked. As their numbers grew, Todd grew desperate. Todd began to run. He ran from the zombies. He ran from the city. He ran to something else. He ran until he was winded. He ran until the evening when he became drowsy. His tired running created little space. His map was a sea of nothing. A new pain had sprouted. Todd unwrapped a dirty bandage from his side to reveal the inevitable. He was infected with a curse which had no cure. He was much less bandaging now, but covering up what he knew was there. Todd Wit was dying. He knew this. And maybe he had been dying for much longer than he had thought. Maybe ever since he boarded himself in his trailer in the abject safety of their fiberglass walls, he'd been dying. Maybe ever since he decided to watch the world die while he peered out from the plastic window shades, he'd been dying. Maybe ever since he watched his family attempt to find safety while he prayed for rescue from this curse, he'd been dying. Maybe ever since he fled the city for the trees, he'd been dying. Maybe today, as his legs began to fail him, as his feet would no longer finish the job, as his hands felt heavy, and as the cold sweats set in, maybe this was when he'd live. Todd stopped running. Todd turned to face what remained of his life and started living. Come on, Todd. Get the fuck out of there. Come on, Todd! And that, my friends, was the story of Elias Still and Todd Wit. For them, their story is over. But for you, it's just beginning. Because as stated before, I'm making this a series. Something I can eventually stitch together to turn into a full movie. And if you stick around, I think you might enjoy it. Holy shit, we did it. I'm freestyling now. This is one take. Firstly, I had a goal of 5,000 and now I'm at 17,000 and I'm going to jump out of my window. Thank you, each one of you. I can't even begin to describe how this... It fully hasn't set in yet. Thank you to all the members of the Discord. Thank you to Han for doing this art for me. Thank you to Louise for being my first ever dollar earned on YouTube. Amazing. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here. I love every single one of you. My agenda now is full speed ahead on the next Schedule 1 video, but please let me know what you loved and hated about this video. I'm still kind of finding the groove, and it's those comments that really help me triangulate. It's only me, so I'm just trying to churn out quality as fast as I can, but quality and quantity, you know. Okay, I think that's it. More coming soon. Join the Discord for sneak peeks at content coming ahead. Thank you, and bye.